check, comrade, and that looks like a good config.
The Amigo U-Bag is opened up and ready to receive. The internal thread is to the MLI. Open bolts.
Copy that. It's going to be Alpha 2 counterclockwise 2. I do have a note here to ensure the socket is perpendicular to the bolt head and maintain pressure on the bolt when driving. Just as those bolts are retained by a threaded washer, and if it becomes unthreaded, the bolts and two washers are no longer captive. Sable, for you, I have a caution. The failure torque on these Stinger launch bolts is 10.8 foot-pounds, so that's not necessarily a lot. So you want to make sure that that ratchet wrench is in the counterclockwise configuration. Make sure it's in the loosened configuration.
Okay, it is. It works. Okay, I got the ratchet wrench. I'm ready to it. Ready to work with it. I'm just gonna. How many turns am I putting on this?
It'll be 6 to 10 turns counterclockwise on both the port and the starboard bolts, 2S and 1S.
Yeah, this should work. Cal, good bolts, green light.
Okay, and you said that was one of the bolts, comrade?
Negative. Well, good Cal bolts, the PGT, and then Alpha 2, counterclockwise 2 set.
Yep, that's a good reading, and lesson for me, bolts does not mean bolts.
So in this view, we're looking through Mark Van Heij's helmet camera. He's working on the FHRC, the Flexhose rotary coupler, and he's going to be releasing 2 struts from the hose box itself and the 2 launch bolts, which have been in place since the spare was launched.
And comrade,
and again, his task, just releasing some of the launch restraint hardware, so it's hardware in place just to make sure the payload is extra secure during the dynamic phases of actually launching into space, not necessary for holding it in place here on the space station, and this being done to just basically get ahead should this ever be needed for a replacement activity in the future. All of this will already be released, and that'll cut down on some of the time for future spacewalking astronauts to access and use it.
Some binding on the bolts, being the PGT is kind of shuddering, you don't know the wobbles right on. So to keep driving, with 6.5 turns.
Okay, stand by. And comrade, if you want, you can go ahead and go to the other bolt while we discuss your words on the first one. And Sable, for you, those bolts should pop out once they're fully released.
Words. The first starboardmost bolt just released. About 6 turns.
Okay, we copy.
Bolt of the VCSU MLI cover is released at 16 turns.
Okay, copy. 16 turns, and we're still talking about the other bolt.
using that pistol grip tool. He's got 2 bolts to release. The first one seems to have had a couple of issues, so the team's talking about it down here. The second one released. After those are out, he'll be able to release Velcro holding it down, and then a couple of straps, and then he'll be able to remove this MLI, this multi-layer insulation, and then stow it in his bag.
Both of those bolts are released.
Nice job, Sabo. With that, you can close that aft MLI flap.
I need this,
Sorry about that, folks.
I don't need the ratchet wrench anymore, do I? Oh, I do, don't I? No, I'm using my PGP from the surrounds.
Yeah, you can. We're going to start out. Do you have an estimate on the turns?
Oh yeah, it was about 6 turns on both of them.
This is Mission
It
Control,
got kind of tough to tell when I ended up using the palm wheel
Johnson
towards
Space
the end.
Center in Houston, Texas.
Okay, copy that, but they both popped up, so that's good.
Both popped up. That's the room. This is some nice MLI out here. The real deal.
And comrade, we're going to go ahead and have you reattempt on that first bolt with the same settings, alpha 2, counterclockwise 2, and hand over in about 20 seconds.
Alpha 2, counterclockwise 2. We'll go.
And this is Mission Control Houston. We'll get that video back with the station in just a few moments. But right now the 2 crew members out at one of the external stowage platforms, basically areas of the station where a lot of spare hardware is stored. They're working on 2 separate get-ahead tasks right now. EV1 Randy Bresnik, who you're going to hear referred to as Comrade quite a bit, that's his call sign from his military days, is working to remove some multi-layer insulation from a direct current switching unit. It's a piece of spare hardware used in the station's electrical power system, responsible for routing electrical current either to the or from the solar array wings, the solar arrays which generate all of the electrical energy on board the station, or from the batteries which are charged by those solar arrays. Those batteries
Strap on the underside of the forward flap, and then you should be able to that DCSU MLI in the bag. And Sabo.
I'm at the forward 6. Go ahead.
Yeah, it sounds like you may have already gotten ahead of me. I was going to say, for you, once you have the MLI closed up and the ratchet wrench stowed, you can translate to the aft port side of the FHRC, and we're going to have you do a wire tie on the FSE handrail.
That gentleman's name is Mike Hopkins.
And you want to...
He is a NASA astronaut.
Do wire ties. Hopper, is it okay for me to BRT to this handrail? It doesn't look very sturdy.
No, you can't BRT to that handrail.
I can or cannot?
You can.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
As you get to see the 2 separate
And Sabo, you're going to want to put that long wire tie on the
cameras.
aft end of that handrail.
Camera 20 on the left, camera 18 on the right. That is both EVA1, EVA2. Once again, these are two separate helmet cams. Okay, we're actually back to the one now. Okay.
KLM cares that every flight is a pleasure, and now they're expanding that care to all other airlines, including budget airlines. It's called KLM's Flight Upgrader. Now you can upgrade your budget flight to a KLM flight using virtual reality.
Welcome on board this KLM flight.
Let's get this to people who need it the most. Are you flying a budget airline today?
Yes.
Oh, bad call. What airline do you fly with?
Airlines.
Airlines. Ooh, sorry about that. I got a free upgrade for you. You're gonna love this. You should pick an airline where things are included. You can even watch a movie. Baywatch. Excellent airplane movie.
Holy moly.
You can keep those. Enjoy your flight.
It's a pleasure having you on board, and I hope to see you soon again.
Sorry about the commercial break. Bullshit.
Want to get out your PGT, and it's going to be a Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2 setting.
Bravo 7, counterclockwise 2, copy. You, torque for turns, so it must be turns, huh?
Yeah, you're going to release the bolt. It should be approximately 14 turns. And comrade, you don't have to put that inside the ORU bag if you want to. If you got a way to get it back to the airlock, looks like you rolled it up pretty neat.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, I may just put it in the lid and crank it down. Thanks. Good idea.
By the way, you're pretty neat on that rolling. You're making the rest of us look pretty bad.
I'm lucky.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mike Hopkins. He is currently
You know, Hopper, got
POA.
word. He just started Boy Scouts
And he's a NASA astronaut.
here, so we're working on tent rolling and sleeping bag rolling. You know how that is.
Well, we're not going to have you sleep outside tonight, though.
View would be worth it.
Would be a good view, wouldn't it?
Counterclockwise 2.
Yeah, that's correct, Sabo. Bravo 7 counterclockwise to approximately 14 turns.
chimed in and said, just wrap it in the lid. I got 0.55 turns and torque, good LED, and 25.6 pounds. What would you like me to do next? Worked out pretty quick.
Okay, confirm you did have it counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise confirmed. Both by feel and setting.
Okay, Sable, we can try it one more time. Just make sure you got a good body position for that higher torque.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and adjust before I do it again.
And comrade, once you're ready, you can take that back to the airlock and stow it inside, and then we'll have you go out and help Sable with his test.
Okay, alright, open up the thermal cover and go all the way around the backside and from here, straps on now and head back together.
Yeah, that's fine. Comrade, you can head back together.
I got a fault torque. Alright, didn't have a good vibe position, trying it again.
You guys like this live stream?
Okay, copy, Sable, stand by.
Give me a subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And tell me in the comments what you think about it.
Have a much better body position now if you'd like me to try it.
And you're go to try again, Sable.
Copy. Sable, how can I help? How can you help? You can work on the other bolt. On the other side. Alright.
Yeah, comrade, you're going to go to the aft starboard side of the FHRC, to the aft end of the starboard FSC handrail, and you'll put a long wire tie on that, 3 twists.
And we don't need wire ties on the front of the DCSU?
Negative, there's no wire ties required on the DCSU.
Alright, Hopper, I got, must have broke torque and now it's much easier. Look at those 14 turns.
Okay, excellent work.
Turn so far.
And sorry, Sable, I thought you said you got the 14 turns. You're saying you just got a half turn, but it did break torque.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay, so you have go to continue.
For those of you that have no idea what's going on here, this is a live and real-time spacewalk on the International Space Station.
Copy. Okay, Hopper, that bolt is free with 15 turns.
Okay, copy.
One turn too many.
No worries. You can now stow your PGT, and then you're going to rotate the strut aft and secure it with that wire tie.
Copy.
spacewalkers Randy Bresnik and Mark Vandehei now working side by side to finish up this get-ahead task. Randy Bresnik already removed the insulation from the electrical component spare that was his task in the same area. Now working to finish up this work on the flex hose rotary coupler, a spare piece of hardware used in the station's coolant system, responsible for transferring liquid ammonia around the coolant loops, which helps to dissipate and remove heat generated by systems on the outside of the International Space Station. The work that they're doing right now, the spare not needed right now, but this work being done to release some of the restraints in place ever since the spare was launched. Those are a little bit more robust than what is necessary just to hold it secure in place on the station. So by releasing these bolts and these struts, they'll put it in a better position. So if it's ever needed in the future, it'll be a much easier access item for future spacewalking crew members. And as we are 6 hours, 7 minutes, and 36 seconds into today's spacewalk, it is starting to shape up like this might be the last activity for the day for these crew members. Their spacewalk was originally targeted to last 6.5 hours, so we will be close, or we will probably even likely exceed that at this point, as they will make their way back to the airlock, most likely after this activity is completed.
On the fuel stove, there's EVA tape that goes back down around the strut, and there's a place that's labeled tap. I did not have that. Glove and half check, top is dry. Left glove is no change. Right glove is no change.
Okay, we copy that, Sabo, and we have a question for you. If we were to move the wire tie closer down, do you think you could wire tie that strut down and still have it free of the work site?
Oh, yeah, I can wire tie this perpendicular to the surface of the, basically it's going to be normal with the handrail if you'd like. Wire tie is long enough to reach all the way over.
Okay, copy that, stand by.
See in the orientation you see depicted.
Okay, comrade, you're Bravo 7 counterclockwise 2, 14 turns. Sabo, you're going to go ahead and wire tie that back as far as it will go, and that should still give clearance for the removal of the FHRC.
Bravo 7, counterclockwise 2.
That's a good setting.
It so happens that I made one of these ends longer than the other, and that's why the long wire tie could make it okay for me to just use one of the ends of the long wire tie. You do three twists back around itself.
And we're okay with that, Sabo.
On commentary is Mr. Dan Hewitt at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Today's payload operations officer is Mike Hopkins, current
Okay,
NASA
copy that,
astronaut.
Sable. Good job.
The port strut is clear, 14 turns.
Okay, copy that. You can restore your PGT and rotate that back and see if you can't get it wire tied down as well.
Hey, Hopper, I just realized that this MLI, it slides all the way to the base, so it's a non-issue. I can
Folks, I'll be back in about 10 minutes.
strut all the way back.
Enjoy the live stream.
Okay, we copy that, Sabo.
Can make it. Just let me. I'll start working on improving it unless you tell me to stop.
Yeah, we're talking about it, Sabo, because right now the procedure has you covering the MLI flap around the bolt, which is where it came from, so we need to discuss.
Oh yeah, that's not happening in either case. I probably could. Yeah, I could maybe use more than one wire tie and make that happen. Yeah, chain on wire ties. I got the same issue. The grounding strap, and I'm not even getting back as far as you are. Oh, yeah, just, that whole speed of MLI slides all the way down. So the grounding strap's even shorter for you, huh? Yep.
Okay, Sabo, so we're okay. You don't have to cover the bolt with the MLI, so if you want to go ahead and just wire tie that back as far as you can. And, comrade, if you can slide down that MLI as low as it'll go and bring it back as far as you can and wire tie it down. And comrade, not sure if your BRT, is it preventing you from bringing the strut further back or not?
Not at all. The grounding wires and max tension starting to pull on the MLI over on this side on the flop vehicle bolt 4.
Okay, copy that. So, yeah, as we said earlier, just get it as far aft as you can and wire tie it.
I made a loop out of a long wire tie, maybe 3 twists. I'll connect that in series to a loop with a small wire tie that'll go around the strut.
Okay, copy.
All right, Hopper, this one's complete on this side.
Okay, Sabo, you can head back to your crew lock bag then, and we'll do a quick inventory on it. And just as a heads up for the two of you, the plan at this point is we've had a very, very good day. And so once we get this last strut wire tied up, we'll go ahead and take our bags back to the airlock, and we're going to call it a day.
What's up? That's a good day. Thanks for all the work that went into developing the plan. You get out on your first PDA table, you save the arm. Nice one. And also thanks to all the people that got us trained up to be able to do this stuff.
Okay, comrade, and just for verification for you, we're happy with that config as long as you confirm you've got 3 twists on all of the wire ties, particularly where they're joining together as well.
There's 3 with a long to the handrail. 3 at the end of the long, making the loop. Once the short is around the long, it has 3, and also the 3 on the strut.
That sounds fantastic. And comrade, I think you said you did keep your GoPro, correct? So that's very fortunate. If it's okay, we'd like to go ahead and get some video with the GoPro around these struts.
Work.
And comrade, when you pull that out, you can just take a look and see if you see that blinking light.
I gotta turn it on first. You gotta make it light.
Okay, excellent.
Do you need to go over to the other side, or is just the video from here good enough?
Yeah, if you can, comrade, we'd like to get some on the other side as well.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
What is it? There's one down there.
Go in. I'll tell you here, get some minutes.
blue lock bag inventory.
We're ready to copy.
Got one small rent with a ratchet wrench and palm drive, and a rigid
Do not be a clown.
7/16 by 2-inch socket.
Copy.
Anybody on board out by the cupola?
Yeah, I don't know. We're checking.
Got a circular torque multiplier on an interval rent.
Copy.
And I've got a caddy on an interval rent with a 5/8 by 2-inch rigid socket.
Copy.
Everything inside the bag.
And we concur.
I guess I'm picking up the other two as well, right?
And Sable on the outside
Outside of the bag, I have adjustable.
Okay, that's what we were looking for. It sounds like a good inventory. You have a go to put that on your BRT and head back to the airlock.
Also, we got a couple minutes of extra time to see if we can go out of here and picture here on the bottom side of the speed.
And say that again, comrade.
We got 2 minutes to save up and just backtrack where speed are and hop up here and grab a picture in the cupola.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, I'll be there shortly. I am ready to the bag, by the way, Hopper.
Okay, excellent.
Next to be a FHRC handrail.
Socks off. Don't be standing there. Socks off now. Put them in your shoes.
You over here, Sable? I do. On the way shortly.
Sorry about that rude interruption, everyone. That's the fire district. They're clowns over there with that thing.
You're hitting the strut you just wired down. So just go the other way. You can. Oh, there you go. What's that? I'm ready to cop on 1. Go ahead and show that cuff again. Go ahead again? Oh, yep. Transfer Abigail. Here, Sabo. Over here. Open up and grab a hold of this handrail if you can. Yeah, I'm gonna get my feet together out from behind me.
Get changed now. Stop standing there.
Yes. 3. Yep. I see it. Oh, I see what you did.
6 hours, 28 minutes into today's spacewalk. The 2 get-ahead tasks are completed. The crew just doing some final cleanup, and then they're going to be heading back to the airlock shortly for ingress, or basically getting back inside of the pressurized part of the International Space Station. Today's spacewalk is going to officially come to an end when that repressurization of the Quest airlock begins. That'll happen after the hatch is closed and the crew members are in a good position. Then they'll begin filling Quest back up in the air, and then as soon as that happens, we'll stop the clocks and the spacewalk will come to an official end. But for now, doing these cleanup tasks, they're still out at the external stowage platform number 2, where the 2 get-ahead tasks, removing some insulation from an electrical spare and preparing a spare for the coolant loop system for the station was completed successfully. And so with these 2 get-aheads complete, they'll do these short cleanup tasks, gather all their tools, and then start heading back towards the airlock.
Alright. Hand on back. Well done. Houston.
Nice job, guys. So Sabo, you can go ahead and head back to the airlock, and Comrade, we need to go back and get that bundle and do an inventory on it.
On the way. Copy. Thanks, Hopper.
And Comrade, we won't require a full inventory on that bundle. We'll just need to make sure everything on the outside is there. And Comrade, we should see 3 external adjustables on the outside of that.
Sure. And then 3 external adjustments.
Okay, that's a good tool config. You can slide up and head back to the airlock.
You all okay with the opening the thermal cover? You're good to open it up and start in, Sable. Copy. We tossing the medium RU bag.
So as we can see from Mark Van de Heid's helmet cam, already back at the airlock, he opened up the thermal cover and he's going to make his way in. Randy Bresnik will soon be right behind him. He gathered up the insulation that he removed from one of the items out on external stowage platform number 2. Has all of his tools gathered up now and is going to make his way back to the airlock.
Copy.
Now for my right waist tether is large hook, the airlock gear extender, black on black, gate closed and locked. My small hook is on the right gear extender, gate closed and locked.
Okay, that sounds good.
And Conrad, you want me to get my seat together? Negative. Copy.
And Sable, you just keeping that crew lock bag on your BRT?
Not right now. I'm actually going to put on a adjustable in the airlock. Or I'll just,
That's fine. Just wanted to make sure.
oh no, I'm going to use the adjustable that's here. Wrap it around the handrail and then take it off my BRT.
Copy that.
Mark, this is Joe on 1. Feel free to leave anything you want on you. We'll take it off once you get inside.
Okay. If comments start coming in, I won't mess around. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and try to get to a standard config. I'm about to give you the DMRU bag. Okay. Keeping it on my BRT. And I'm ready to receive a medium RU bag. And off your BRT, stop the red floating like gives you more space. I have the lock bag still. I'm not going to put the medium RU bag on my BRT. Looking for a tether point. To an adjustable on here. Okay. There's the handrail. I will get tethered to that and I'll give you back your red. Well, just take the red off of here. That'll work. Okay. I'll put that back on the ceiling for the main or zenith side. No desire. Oh, it's got more stuff in it, never mind. I'll put it towards the hatch. The IV hatch.
Mark, just make sure you have access to the UIA.
Roger. Far so good.
And Sable, I have you in a good config, but it's your go for EV1 to release your anchor hook.
I'm go for EV1 to release my anchor hook. into your anchor hook. Copy. UB1 has a left waist tether on UB2's anchor hook. Both are hooks closed, sliders locked.
Okay, that sounds like a good config. You can retrieve your anchor hook and ingress the airlock.